The 1920s in Paris, a whirlwind of creativity and change. Artists, writers, and thinkers flocked to the city, each with a story to tell. Among them was Paulette Nardal, a young woman from the Caribbean island of Martinique. She arrived in 1920, bringing with her the warmth of the Caribbean sun and a mind brimming with ideas. Little did she know, she was about to weave herself into the very fabric of Parisian intellectual life. Paris in the 1920s was a melting pot of cultures. This vibrant atmosphere provided fertile ground for Nardal's own intellectual growth. She found herself drawn to the burgeoning discourse on race, identity, and colonialism. Her experiences as a Black woman from a colonized island resonated deeply with the struggles for equality and recognition that echoed through the Parisian streets. Nardal's arrival in Paris marked the beginning of an extraordinary journey. It was a journey that would see her become a pivotal figure in one of the most influential intellectual and cultural movements of the 20th century, Négritude. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for deep dives into fascinating historical figures. Paulette Nardal was born on 12th of October, 1896, into a prosperous, educated family in Martinique. Her father, Paul Nardal, was an influential engineer and politician, giving her access to quality education and intellectual discourse from a young age. In 1920, Paulette moved to Paris to pursue higher education at the Sorbonne, one of the most prestigious universities in Europe. This move would prove to be a critical juncture in her life, setting the stage for her future work, advocating for Black identity and cultural pride. Nardal and her sisters, notably Jean Nardal, were among the earliest Black women intellectuals who laid the groundwork for the Négritude movement through their work in Paris in the 1920s and 1930s. In Paris, Paulette Nardal and her sisters established a literary salon in their apartment in the Clamart suburb. The salon became a gathering place for Black intellectuals, writers, and artists from across the African diaspora, including the Caribbean, Africa, and the United States. These gatherings fostered discussions on race, colonialism, cultural identity, and the shared experiences of colonized peoples. This intellectual hub attracted prominent figures such as Jean-Priest Mars, René Morin, Marian Anderson, and Marcus Garvey. Léopold Sédar Senghor, Aimé Césaire, and Léon-Gontran Damas, who would later be recognized as key figures in the Négritude movement, were also regular visitors. Nardal's salon provided a space where these thinkers could share ideas, debate, and develop a collective consciousness centered on Black pride and solidarity. The conversations and connections forged in the Clamart salon were crucial in shaping the foundational ideas of Négritude. This literary and ideological movement emphasized the importance of African heritage and the Black experience. The Nardal sisters facilitated dialogue on Black identity and cultural heritage, engaging with themes of alienation, resistance, and cultural pride long before Négritude's more famous male founders formalized these ideas. Nardal was influenced by the Harlem Renaissance, a cultural movement celebrating Black art, music, and literature in the United States. She introduced many French-speaking intellectuals to the ideas and works of Black American writers, such as Langston Hughes and Claude McKay, helping to link African-American and Francophone Black intellectual traditions. Paulette Nardal's contributions to promoting Black consciousness in cross-cultural dialogue were crucial to the early conceptual framework that would later be codified as Négritude. Paulette Nardal played a crucial role in shaping the intellectual landscape of the Négritude movement. She served as a mentor and guide to the young men who frequented her salon. Her insights, gleaned from her own experiences and her deep understanding of Caribbean and African history, helped to shape their perspectives. Nardal encouraged these young intellectuals to embrace their African heritage. She challenged them to deconstruct the Eurocentric narratives that had dominated their education. Her emphasis on the importance of reclaiming their cultural identity resonated deeply with Césaire, Senghor, and Damas. Through countless hours of discussion and debate, the concept of negritude began to take shape. It wasn't merely a rejection of colonialism, but a powerful affirmation of Black identity and culture. Nardal's mentorship was instrumental in nurturing this burgeoning movement, providing it with intellectual rigor and a clear sense of purpose. Paulette Nardal was a facilitator of intellectual exchange and an accomplished writer and translator. In addition to hosting salons, she co-founded La Revue du Monde Noir, the Review of the Black World, in 1931 alongside Dr. Léo Sajou and other intellectuals. This bilingual journal published works in French and English, focusing on Black culture, art, and the global African diaspora. It was one of the first publications dedicated to Black culture and thought, and served as an important platform for discussing themes of Black identity, unity, and resistance to colonialism. Through her writings, Nardal addressed issues of race, identity, and the challenges faced by Black women in a colonial and patriarchal society. Her essays and articles were characterized by a nuanced understanding of the complexities of race and gender, making her one of the early voices in Black feminist thought. Though La Revue du Monde Noir had a relatively short lifespan, it was instrumental in shaping early Négritude thinking. Nardal's editorial work helped spread the ideas of Black consciousness and solidarity across the diaspora, making her one of the earliest voices to articulate Black people's shared struggles and aspirations worldwide. Despite her foundational role in the development of Négritude, Paulette Nardal has often been marginalized in historical accounts of the movement, partly due to her gender. The early founders of Négritude, particularly Aimé Césaire and Léopold Sédar Senghor, became the more visible faces of the movement, overshadowing the contributions of women like Nardal. Paulette Nardal acknowledged this marginalization, noting that while she and other women helped develop the intellectual groundwork for Négritude, the male intellectuals were publicly credited for the movement's emergence. Nevertheless, her influence remains undeniable. Paulette Nardal's work laid the groundwork for subsequent generations of Black intellectuals and activists. Her efforts in creating platforms for dialogue and her contributions to the literature of Négritude were crucial in the movement's development and dissemination. Recent scholarship has begun to recognize and celebrate Nardal's impact. Her legacy is seen in the continued relevance of the Négritude movement and the ongoing discussions about race, identity, and Black consciousness. Paulette Nardal's pioneering efforts paved the way for future movements advocating for racial equality and cultural pride, and her contributions remain a testament to the power of intellectual and cultural activism. Through her literary salon, writings, and advocacy, she played an important role in fostering a sense of unity and cultural pride among people of African descent. Nardal's legacy inspires and informs contemporary discussions on race, identity, and the ongoing struggle for equality. Paulette Nardal died on 16th of February, 1985, aged 88. At the 2024 Summer Olympics opening ceremony, Nardal was celebrated as one of the 10 heroines of French history. Thank you for watching. Did you know about Paulette Nardal before watching? If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, leave a comment below. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more historical videos.